Any announcements for today?
It might be nice to tell this group that my wife and her colleague, Dr. Christine Zagziski, and our engineer, Majid, are working on the magnetometer. They're actually setting up a lab experiment here at the university. And so I think actually my wife sent me a photo of the lab, or I got a photo of it so I can show what we're doing. Oh yeah, here, this is a good photo. Share. There you go. So there's Majid and my wife, and Dr. Z was on Zoom from her house yesterday, but they've got the magnetometer set up in the lab there. So they're trying to come up with some sort of a lab demo that we could bring to the HamSCI workshop or to Hamvention, and they're going to be working on the documentation with Dave Witten. And then we have a magnetometer installed at my house and my wife's house, and we also have one at Dr. Z's house. So they're also looking at how the measurements in lab compare with what's happening outside. So we have some people actively working on moving the magnetometer forward. So a little awareness of what's going on there.
I like the stack of books.
Right? We're building on the knowledge of we're building on prior knowledge.
Always a good thing to build on prior knowledge.
Yes.
Okay. This is standing, but end of October is the Aerial Rocky Mountain Division Convention. Ham Science returns today.
Yeah, and on number one, Nathaniel, can I send you a short list of stuff that maybe we can have Talisa send out to Dave's in Colorado for HamCon?
Sure, that would be great.
Yep. Okay, I'll do that before we're done here. Thanks.
I should also point out that if I can make one more announcement, I'd like to recognize W1XP, who is here, Bob. He now has a Whisper Demon Grape set up, and he is doing very well on the top spotters list. So the other day, so here he's at number 13 right now, but the other day he was up at like 6 or 7 for top spotters in the world. So right now he's just behind Jenny Jump, State Park UACNJ, but he's doing really well. So Bob, maybe do you want to tell us a little bit about your antenna system over there?
Well, it's just a lot of wire.
No kidding.
I'm actually using the 630 meter transmitting antenna, which is not very tall, particularly in wavelengths, but it's got a lot of wire on top. And then there's a lot of wire in the ground, thousands of feet. I've lost track.
Maybe you can show us a picture sometime.
Yeah, when they came in to work on the trees, I had to take all the top loading down, or at least, disconnect it at one end and roll it up. And that was over 1,500 feet. So, so that's the way to start. Just twisting wire together.
That's impressive, Bob. Maybe you can show us a photo sometime.
Yeah. Well, I can do that. There's not much to see, but it's hard to see the wires.
Yeah, drawings might be better in that case.
But anyway, we're trying. do I need permission to modify this equipment?
No, I trust you.
Okay, I think the fellow in Utah suggested the other night I take this, remove on an inductor on the, and so I thought I'd get out my 30-watt American Beauty and a pair of bolt cutters and have at it.
I think that sounds good. And that will hopefully help the low frequency response.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not seeing antenna noise at all below 500 kilohertz at least.
Yes, I think that's a good idea to remove that bias T and
Yeah.
that low end filter there.
Okay. I will also point out as a general share that Case's homecoming is this weekend, and therefore WADD will have some festivities and visiting.
That sounds fun. What sort of festivities?
I need to check. I know there's some kind of antenna demo going on Saturday, but I think that's for.
Yeah, that's in my lab. We're setting up a 2-meter beam, and then we have a 2-meter dipole with an LED on it that I've specially rigged, and you can walk along and you can see the peak of the wave and it disappears, and you can actually see the waveform in the room. People tend to like that. It sort of brings the mystery back to, oh, that's really true. It really works.
That sounds really great.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good demo. People really are, their eyes kind of pop when you show them that, yeah, there's a wave here and it disappears at the tunnel. And Maxim knew what he was talking about, or Maxwell.
So how do you see it? What do you mean?
I have an LED on the thing, and I basically have a diode and a little cap there, so it's a peak detector, and the LED is a green one, so it's really sensitive to your eyes. And you actually see the current increase as you walk along the standing wave of the transmitted 2-meter wavefront. In 2 meters, you can see every 2 meters you get a peak in the room.
Do you have to turn the lights off?
Nope, nope. It's quite bright.
Cool.
How much power do you run into the transmitter?
I think we're running 1 watt,
Okay, yeah.
so it's safe to be around it. So
You wouldn't happen to have that demo written up as instructions, would you?
no, but I can do that.
If you do it, I might ask Majid to build us one here in Scranton too.
Yeah, it's a cool demo. It brings
It's,
you know
it's
standing
like
waves
that.
and
yeah, you're actually seeing the standing wave in the room.
yeah, and you can walk along it and
That's a real problem when you're trying to have a radio communication work in a very closed environment. Because there's a lot of nulls and they can be 40 or 50 dB deep.
yep.
Yeah, John, would you mind writing that up and maybe even sharing it with the whole HamSCI list?
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. It won't be tomorrow, but I can get something done. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
There was
that's
I'm having problems finding the receive antenna. I may have to build another one this week for the weekend project, so I'll just document it.
You can actually put a diode and a microamp meter in the loop too.
You can do that, but the microammeter tends to be a bit bulky. A small
Well, yeah,
green
and
T1 3/4 LED is a lot more
the,
visual.
the visual thing is much more impressive, but
Yeah, the green LED does a really good job.
that sounds really neat.
I've seen a really great demo using a 10 gigahertz transmitter that puts out so many microwatts or whatever. And some fellow built a whole bunch of different antennas, miniature antennas that are appropriate for that, a Yagi and a dipole and all these things, little things. And he could hook them up and then do things like rotate them, and you could see how the signal strength changes and you can move the antennas around and see the nulls, and yeah, it's very, very great visual effect of something you can do at that frequency on a tabletop.
Is
Yeah.
that what Steve Serwin has done?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Steve Serwin has a kit just like that.
Dale Clemens, also AF1T, does a nice presentation with that.
Okie dokie. Bill, any updates?
All right, well, I have everything working on the server except there's some problem with there's a, I don't know, some kind of a conflict. We have the latest version of Rocky Linux, version 10, and we have the port 443 open, but as soon as you activate HTTPS on the server, Apache crashes. And that's kind of, and sometimes on one occasion it even crashed the server. So there is something we have to dig into, and my colleagues.
Bill, I think we lost your audio.
Okay, let's sound panel.
I think he lost his audio.
I guess we'll have to switch to phone is dead.
Usually just changing the,
That did it.
There we go.
yeah, using just, all I have to do is call up the sound mixer properties and just move the slider around on the volume, and that reactivates it. Windows. Anyway, my colleagues are going to work on this for the next couple of days by doing a clean install of Apache, and let's see what happens. I am heading out this afternoon to New York to my 55th high school graduation reunion. And I've been promised that the flights will all be canceled and I'll get stuck in Detroit or somewhere. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyway, no, it looks like I've got it to where it'll process all the different upload types, and cleaning up a few little details with that. I've wrote a thing also that goes and finds any things that have been uploaded in the past that didn't get cataloged in the database for some reason. Sometimes they contain some kind of anomaly that causes the thing to drop the upload, but I'm tracking down what causes those things and fixing them one by one, and so I should be able to get all the data we have eventually cataloged into the database. So also preparing for the DASH conference in San Antonio, which is week after next. I'm going to spend some time with them working on understanding what do I have to do to implement a happy server and talk about our data and see how we can adapt it to use with our data. So that's about all I have. Back to net.
Okay. Gary, you had some updates on the installation.
Yeah, I'm wondering, so Nathaniel walked me through how to use the HamSCI VPN and connect remotely to the K3LR system, which is great. We were able to connect to the Whisper Daemon machine, no problem. I was able to do that again this morning. You know, I tried to connect to the magnetometer, and it came back with an error that it couldn't find the KA9Q webpage or some such thing. You know, we wouldn't have KA9Q running on the magnetometer, right? So maybe that's not really an error. Anybody have an opinion on that?
I know it's, no, yeah, that's right. That K9Q can't be found is not really an error. What I did, Rob has a script to set up the VPN kind of automatically with Whisper Daemon. So to put that on the magnetometer, I just took his Whisper Demon package and disabled all of the K9Q radio parts of it. But then I installed Whisper Demon on there just to install the VPN portion. So there are some error messages that are coming up that's looking for KA9Q radio and things like that. And you're right, it can't find it. But even so, and that's normal. Even so, I was not able to log into this system, and I don't think that is normal. So I still think this system is hung somehow. But I do think if you do a hard reboot, it will work.
So does that, I assume it's running Ubuntu or Linux or something like that. Does that have a regular GUI when I plug into a monitor?
On the magnetometer does. The magnetometer is running, it's running on a Raspberry Pi.
Right.
So
if there's a
that-
regular GUI, then I can at least look at the Wi-Fi, then I can do a controlled shutdown rather than just yanking the power, is what I'm
That's
asking.
correct.
Okay,
The Whisper Demon system does not have a GUI, that's command line only. But you can log in normally and then do a graceful shutdown.
what would be the shutdown command?
Sudo space halt.
Okay, that helps a lot. Those two facts help make me feel a little better and about the whole thing. Okay.
The other thing to say is that Dave Witten is actively developing a system, a board that will let you plug the magnetometer into a USB port on a regular computer like the B-Link. So I think the hope is that when we actually start deploying these things, we aren't deploying separate Raspberry Pis. They just get plugged straight into the B-Link.
Right. Okay. Well, obviously my goal is to get everything working tomorrow because I don't want to have to make another 1.5-hour trip back there. There's something soon.
Definitely.
So. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That helps quite a bit. Back to you, Rachel.
Okay. Running down our list. Check if Rob is on. I don't see him, so I'm going to assume no updates.
Yeah, I think he was going to be out at KFS today, if I remember.
Christina, any updates?
Nothing to report. I'll be joining Gary tomorrow to go to K3LR and move that station.
What?
She'll be going to K3LR as well.
Okay.
All right. Does anyone else have anything to discuss or report?
Quick question for N8OBJ. Hey, John, the plotting software that comes up every night on the Grape 1. I was going to attribute that software to both you and 88Y. Is that correct? Because I'm speaking to Christine and I are speaking to some college students tomorrow.
That sounds right.
Yeah, because I know you worked on it and David worked on the filtering and some of the other stuff. When I was looking through the software, I saw his notes. So
I think yeah, it was basically the two of us that did that.
okay, that's what we'll go with then. Okay, that's it. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the plotting software for the Grape One legacy system.
Correct.
Right.
Not a piece of code I'm highly proud of, but it works.
No, it makes pretty graphs, and I can show the students a quiet day and a really active geomagnetic day, so they believe that the grapes really work. So that's all I want to do.
Yeah. You got real grape juice.
Yeah, it's not subtle too. There was a big storm on September 2nd, and the ionosphere was really rocking and rolling.
Okay. Anything else to report or discuss? Questions, comments, concerns? All right. 73, everyone.
73 all.
Take care, 7 threes.
7-3.